We're on the Big Show TV. My hair. Very soon we need a hairstylist.
And look at Dr. Jerry. She's coming to us live from her car.
Oh, Dr. Geraldine, award-winning psychologist from the therapy room, coming to you live from her car.
Are you like stuck in traffic on the causeway or something?
That's her therapy room.
No. I'm in a car park.
Oh.
Yes. And I managed to set up everything. Yay!
Well done.
This is the commitment. She couldn't get from the car park to her office in time, so she set it up in her car. Thank you very much for joining us this morning.
No worries. I'm actually I'm going to the National Skin Center for a follow-up, so all is safe. Oh, so that's why I couldn't get to the office on time.
No
And
worries.
I think it was really funny because I was trying to make this
Oh.
in the morning.
We don't know what that...
Oh, it's
Like a
sushi.
huge
It's like
sushi with
a
spam.
maki type.
Oh, wait, hold on.
something.
Is that real?
No, it's not.
It is.
It's
Yes,
real?
yes.
What? It's real?
Is that your lunch?
It is.
It's a bit oversized.
Is that luncheon meat with rice and seaweed?
Yes. I forget what it's called. I think someone in our listeners can help me. I think it's Mitsubi sushi. That's something that they eat in Hawaii. So I made a whole bunch of it, and that's why I was a little bit late on the road. And I kept hearing FD say there is perfect built up and it's normal for this time. And I was like, no, I don't need that.
Because we forget that Jerry also has a side hobby. She does all these little like bento type boxes and all that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. Yeah, we always forget about that. But thanks for the reminder. Is that your lunch?
It's just a snack. So I made a whole bunch for
Oh
the
my goodness.
team.
Wow.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those are huge,
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
They are huge. Yes, they're
giant.
oversized.
Yeah. So this is your sideline, is it?
I don't sell it.
Well, you
I make
should.
it for fun.
She
I make it for
moonlights
fun
as a
and I
Japanese
just
food
what?
maker.
For herself.
Okay, while Jerry makes her way up to the office, let's take a listen to the cardigan.
no,
She's
we're
doing it from the car today.
So it's
doing
going
it
to be
from the
entirely
car.
from the car.
Yeah.
Wow, I
I'm
love
not
this.
in the office.
I love
Can't
this.
you tell she's not in the
I
office?
thought you said, okay, I've arrived. I'm in the car park now. I thought I heard her say
For the
that
national-
She's
earlier
at the
on.
National Skin
Skin
Center.
Center.
Right, I thought you had gone to the National Skin Center, making your way back to your office, and you were,
Oh,
in your
no.
car park right now. Okay.
Okay. Coming
right,
to you
well,
live from the car.
This is really
Dr.
nice.
Geraldine Tan.
Very
It's her
nice.
therapy room.
Yeah, it's your
It's
studio.
her
huh?
therapy room.
Yeah, your recording studio.
Okay.
Okay, so this morning we're going to be talking about
The stresses of being ill.
stresses of being ill.
Yes.
And you're talking
Yes.
about serious
Because
illnesses
Glenn-
here.
No, it's just very simple illnesses, so we can look at the different types, right? Because I was thinking, Glenn just had your vaccination, and then Shaun just recovered from the COVID, and I thought it would be interesting because I thought I'll be at the skin center, not expecting to be in the car. So we can talk about, being sick and being ill and how, what some of the emotions might be. So feel
Yeah.
free to share it because I know that, FD, when you were overseas and having COVID, there was
Yeah.
a whole bunch of emotions.
Yeah.
Angel was the first one to get COVID, and then she was so dedicated to her work and still zooming.
Yes.
Still zooming from home. And I was like, oh, the dedication that Angel must have while she's ill and lost all her sense of taste and still zooming from home and what you might be going through.
I love it. After all that, I feel like I need an award. It's like building it up, right?
And let's not forget Shaun. I mean, when Shaun had COVID, he was still conducting spin classes.
Oh.
No. I was asleep, man. Like, not again.
I was following your socials and I saw all these posts.
Yeah.
I was
of you
out
on
for
your...
1 week, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Not out
Okay.
the house. Yeah. He was
Yeah.
out.
All right.
All right. We'll talk about the stresses of being ill and continue this conversation on The Big Show TV.
Meantime, here are the Cardigans with Love Fool on 1FM 91.
For those of you joining us this Tuesday, it comes to you from the therapy car.
Jerry, how do you know I went for my my booster? Did you say I went for my vaccination? Just
She
now?
did.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes, because
Did you tell everyone?
we are known
No.
as oversharers. So we share everything.
Yeah, but when
I
did
think
I
you,
share
I
this?
think you did share it. Must be. She knows.
The last therapy Tuesday, you did share it on air, and it
Oh.
was on Tuesday that you went and you were griping about how you cannot go for golf. So I think you are having golf withdrawal now.
You just
I
played
went on
yesterday.
Friday actually. I went
For
on
the
Friday.
booster,
Yeah,
right?
for the booster. Yeah, because
But
I I was afraid I might feel the side effects. So usually if I go for a booster or vaccination, I go on a Friday. So in case I feel anything, I can rest on Saturday and Sunday.
I'm going tomorrow, so hopefully I feel fine.
You know, Jerry, you talk about the stresses of being ill, right? I'll tell you what I've heard with this COVID. And it's something I didn't think would happen, but it's happened. It's happened to a couple of my friends as well. Guilt. Guilt of catching it. And then that,
Yeah.
oh my God, what happens if someone else gets it? And then someone else in the office gets it and you go, oh no, good grief. Was it me? Oh, come on. There's this guilt that they feel.
Yeah.
Have you seen
Yeah.
that?
A lot of guilt. It doesn't just come with COVID, but COVID has that aspect of it being very contagious. So you feel guilty because if you catch it yourself, that's fine. Most of us are not afraid of catching it because we are vaccinated and we are boosted. But many times it is not just about catching it, but the inconvenience it brings to everybody. So even like for clients that have got COVID, or my own team, if they have got COVID, they keep apologizing. I'm so sorry. And you go like, what's there to be sorry about?
Because it's by no fault of anyone
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
they spread it, right?
I think it was more so at the start, but these days everyone's getting.
COVID.
And still people are feeling very guilty about it.
Did you feel guilty?
Did you feel guilty if you had given it to anyone?
Because you couldn't come to work?
I was
you were one man down?
I was overseas. I wasn't so much worried about the show because we've got such a great show. I know you guys can handle it. But I felt guilty when Nicole got it.
Because it came from you.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously. And to spread it to your daughter, it's like,
So you did feel guilty.
yeah, you do.
If I were her, I would have kicked you out.
I think it crossed her mind.
God darn it, welcome you into my house and this is what you do.
I brought a
Yet you
gift
had
from
one
Singapore.
So what other emotions
well-
are tied to that?
Yeah, well, guilt is one. If we look at the different roles and responsibilities, then it informs us what other emotions that it might bring about. Because frustration is another, where you cannot do what your daily tasks, your daily functioning. So frustration would be high in maybe even equal to guilt.
Okay.
Is that the reason why some people prefer not to know? You know what I mean?
It depends. It depends. It really depends. So you look at different types of illnesses, right? So if you look at the very acute one, like maybe your cough and cold, even cough and cold, it creeps up on you. So you have time to deal with it. But when it's very acute, like acute pain, and you're rendered helpless, so you are left frustrated, you're robbed of your functioning. Terminal illnesses, so that's another one. So there's terminal illness, there's contagious illnesses that FD was highlighting, the chronic aches and pains. So you have your backache, or maybe that ankle pain that wouldn't go away. We have Glenn with the vaccination side effects, but he didn't have it, which was good. But some people do have very bad side effects, and they feel another wave or another set of emotions that accompany that. Those that had operations, and they either have to recuperate. So for a temporary period of time, they cannot do what they had been able to do before.
Yeah. I tell you what I felt a bit guilty about, right? So right after the booster on Friday afternoon, the person who administered the booster said, no alcohol for 24 hours.
You had a whiskey.
Okay.
Straight away.
No alcohol for 24 hours and no exercise for 2 weeks. I said, can I play golf? She said, no, you can't play golf as well.
What?
I'm like,
Because you said
okay,
Yeah.
it's fine. So after 12 hours, I had a drink.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, but I mean, that's expected. I did
correct.
it the last time
That
round
was
as
about
well.
happy hour time, right?
Yes,
Okay,
exactly.
there you go.
And then yesterday I played 9 holes, as in
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
But I'm not supposed
Yeah.
to.
And you're feeling fine,
Right.
though?
I'm feeling fine.
Yeah. No breathlessness, nothing.
No breathlessness.
There
no.
you go. Yeah.
Nothing.
I
But-
think, yeah.
But it's still doctor's orders, right?
Is it a doctor, though?
That's true, actually.
I mean,
She's
that's
not a
what
doctor.
They say.
No,
But
Doctors
these
say.
are guidelines given to
From
whoever's
the MOH and from
It-
everything
It's
else.
given to the practitioners there for them to disseminate.
And then
So-
they have to say it, because if they don't say it and something happens to you, then they can't say I didn't.
Right.
Don't say I
Yeah.
didn't tell you. You
Right,
know.
right.
So yeah, they have to say it.
So, Angel's going for a booster as well. And she's going to do F45 right after that.
On the same day, I heard.
Yeah, I'm thinking of
I don't
doing
think you
it,
should
but
do that.
I think you should.
maybe I'll do the F45 first and then go for the booster. How's that?
Yeah,
That's
that-
okay.
that's
that's better. Yeah.
All right. Stresses of being ill.
So I just want to let everybody know that when you go for your booster or whatever, don't be a hero.
No, yeah,
Right?
absolutely.
Listen to the advice that's been given to you, okay?
Jerry, are the stresses different when it comes to, say, home and work? Or is it just a general feeling of stress?
So the home environment where there is the caregiver, right? So we look at the person, the patient themselves, and the caregivers at in the home front. In the work front, then is different sort of stresses by the team and by the patient themselves. So where, FD was saying, I know that the team can hold the fort for a while. So there you feel a little bit more comforted. But what if it is another environment where you are the key player? So how much more guilt would you feel? Do you feel like you're letting your team down? How does the team feel? And how stretched would the team be? So
I just wanted him to do what you're doing actually when he came down with COVID.
Sit in the car.
Yeah, because when Angel had COVID, she worked from home.
See, I knew this would happen. I knew it would
So I
come back
wanted
in.
to see FD's face while he was infected with COVID.
Oh,
Like
what
whether
thing?
Whether he looked different.
Yeah, exactly,
His ears grew. or
Paler,
his,
is it?
he was paler.
maybe his eyes would have been smaller
Smaller,
or something.
right, yeah.
Or
It's like
ghost.
What do you think I'm going to turn into? Some kind of alien?
no. It's like FD with COVID, FD without COVID. His ears bigger, without COVID.
transparent.
I don't know.
But it is an interesting fact, right? It is a very interesting situation because, like,
Jerry,
those
hold on. Jerry, hold on. We're going for a traffic update, okay? And since you're in the car, you must
Okay.
listen to this traffic update.
It's not going anywhere.
Yeah. Okay, here. Jerry, today we're talking about feeling stressed while being ill.
Yes, stress and illness. We always talk about how being ill causes you to be stressed. So now we are stressed from being ill. So I thought it was quite, interesting for us to talk about it.
So you've been talking a lot about what it would be like to be ill. What about the stress from taking care of someone who's ill?
Wow, good point.
Yeah, there's a lot of work done with caregivers nowadays, a lot of burnout that is there. So if we are just looking at the common cough and cold, we know exactly what to do. Give the person more water, ensure that they eat well. But what if it is something that it is not common? something that it is out of the ordinary, like an operation, or the even COVID at one point was, what do we do with COVID? So when we don't know what to do with it, the caregiver gets really worried and very stressed because they have no idea what some steps are. So some of the emotions arise from whether it's the patient themselves or the caregiver, of thinking of the illness as something I can fix. Almost like, the illness is a machine. There is a solution. So many times they feel helpless because they feel that all their efforts are futile, but they forget that the illness needs time to kind of recover and abate.
Yeah.
I think speaking of caregivers and stuff like that, right? I think there are some people who bring this illness upon themselves. They know they shouldn't be doing stuff. They shouldn't be, for example, smoking while they're having a cough.
Yes.
But they carry on smoking, and their cough gets worse, and they end up with like bronchitis or something like that. Or someone who perhaps maybe having a very high fever and goes out and has a few durians, for example. These people cause stress to their family members.
True.
Yeah, because the family members will be sitting there going, take care of yourself,
Yes.
don't eat this, don't eat that.
But there's some people who just refuse or don't know how to take care of themselves.
Yeah.
That is certainly a cause for worry, concern, stress, right, Jerry?
For the people around them.
To have a stupid member of the family like that. Irresponsible.
Well, when you put it like that, it does sound very, annoying, frustrating. But there are times when the patient is a little bit older and they would want to do what they want to do. Under those circumstances, they know and they make those choices with eyes wide open. And all we can do is to really support them. So sometimes the caregiver's role is not to go against that and play tug of war with them, but to support them and say, okay, you've got this, come what may, let's deal with it later on.
But how do you support something that is so bad for someone you love?
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? It's so frustrating to you. Like
frustrating, and you're being
it's
stressed
bad.
out as well, right?
You know it's bad for you. Like, why would you kill yourself?
And you're providing that family member with all the care.
Yeah.
You send them for their medical checkups and all that. Doctor prescribes medication. They refuse to take the medication.
So that's a tug of war as well, right? That's a tug of war with you wanting to do something good for that person, but that person not wanting to follow. So why should you support what they're doing? Shouldn't they also support what you're trying to do?
True. I think in this situation, right, I remember a story, and I don't know where I've read it before. It was a very old doctor with a young doctor, and they did a house call. And this old man was, hacking away, and his lungs was probably all screwed. And he still insisted that he wanted to smoke. So the doctor treated, his cough, but didn't tell him to stop smoking. So the young doctor asked, shouldn't you stop him from smoking? And he said, well, this old man knows he's about to die. The cigarette or the cigar is probably the only comfort he has left. Who are we to take it away from him?
Wow.
So the doctor was looking out for his mental health and treated the symptoms. I thought it was a really beautiful story, and that stuck in my head. I must have read it a very, very long time ago. Yeah, so this is the principle where for those with I did palliative care, so I do palliative care also. Palliative care means end of life work. And sometimes some of the things that they want might not be very healthy for them. To go out for a walk, they can catch all sorts of infections. But if we know, the team knows that they are going to pass in maybe a week or a month, we're not going to stop them. Go, enjoy, we don't know when you're going to, when God's going to take you, right? So
Yeah.
we're not going to.
I guess that's end of life.
Yeah, that's end of life. But
But
there's
like,
some
I agree
people
with you.
who
That's like
are
you're
not
talking about
sick.
in the
Halfway
middle,
there.
Yeah.
halfway
Yeah.
through their lives, like healthy in general people.
Yeah, but there's some really stubborn, individuals.
There
And,
are.
I mean, it's easy for the doctor, right, to go like, okay, he's old, just let him carry on, smoking or whatever. But I don't envy the family members because they're so concerned. So this is what I mean by it stresses the family members out.
Yeah.
They're not going to ask that person to stop smoking either, but they wish in their hearts that he would do something.
Like every time he picked a cigarette up, it stresses them.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's continue
Yeah.
to talk to Jerry on the Big Show TV. In the meantime, here's Ava Max, Sweet But Psycho on 1FM 91.
So we've spoken about patients versus caregivers, and then we're talking about the different types of illnesses and what causes stress. What about the different types of environment? I think we touched a little bit on being sick at home and stuff like that, and at work. But what about kids? Kids at school, how do they get affected?
It's very mixed, right? We talked about the different emotions. One thing we haven't spoken about is relief. So I'm not sure if you've heard of people saying that, being ill is such a relief. So for COVID, right, it was quite interesting because some people really enjoyed that quarantine period when they were ill. It brought them a lot of respite. It brought them a lot of reflective time. Sometimes if you don't know if you're going to fall ill, right, and you don't know what the diagnosis is, and the doctor is finally able to give you that diagnosis, sometimes it's more relieving than being antagonistic for you for the whole psychic.
Yeah, because I feel, I mean, not COVID, but your regular cough and cold and all that, it's just your body telling you to slow down. So your body needs that rest, and it's giving you those few days at home to really get the amount of sleep that you need, the kind of fluids that you need, and just to take a few days off.
So when we talk about those illnesses that we are thinking of, like cough, cold, COVID, that gives us rest. The other part that I was talking about is our parents sometimes, coming to us, and finally when we are able to tell them, your child has ADHD or your child has autism, they say, I kind of knew that something was there, but I didn't know what it was. So it helps them to move in a certain direction. Young adults feel very relieved. I think there's a new wave of adults getting themselves diagnosed with adult ADHD. And they now feel very relieved knowing why they are frustrated or why they procrastinate or why they are so impulsive. They say, I wished I had known it earlier. So it does bring some relief for them.
Okay.
Well, that's
okay.
quite interesting.
Yeah.
Jerry, we have a comment on our Facebook page that is stumping me, and I don't know if you can help to explain it. It's from Joel. He says, I've been trying to teach myself that stress is an opportunity for growth, and it seems to be working. How is stress an opportunity for growth?
There is good stress, right?
Yes, there's good stress, there's bad stress, and the good stress gives us potential to grow. So bad stress limits us, it blocks us, it creates all that, or it brings up all that negative emotion. But good stress keeps us on our toes and keeps us alert so that we can look for better ways to do things, so that we can look for different opportunities like what Joel was saying, and then we can grow from that situation.
Okay. All right.
What would be examples of good stress, Jerry?
let me see. So if you're looking at the example I gave you about the parents, right, or these adults, they when they don't know the diagnosis, they are really, really stressed. They think that they are stupid. They label themselves. They cannot progress. But once they are able to identify what the issue is, they can zoom in and say, okay, these are the steps that I can help myself. Now, the impulsivity might still be there, the procrastination might still be there, all the different situations might still be there, the difficulty, but they are able to do something about it now. They're not handicapped.
So how do parents help kids, for example, when it comes to stress from being ill or kids being stressed about somebody else being ill, say a parent?
This is very interesting. So it's actually two different parts here. So the parents, so the kid being stressed, no, the parent being stressed that the child is ill, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the parent would want to know what to do to inform themselves of what the illness is so that they can help the child. But the child, if they see the parent being ill, now that's a very hopeless feeling. A lot of children are lost because they might not have the capacity to do much. They might not have the awareness of the illness to know what is going on. So many times we always encourage the family to talk about the illness and not hide it from the child, because the child gets very angry, that they are being left out of the discussion. And, after everything has happened, they feel somewhat rejected and abandoned in that situation if they are not included. At least that's what some of the children were kind of mentioned.
Okay.
So we bring it out into the open, we table it, and we talk about it
Right.
so that they understand the situation better.
Yes, and you can give them little tasks to do. Remember that we are very action driven. If we don't know what to do, we just sit there, almost like a sitting duck. No, not quite a sitting duck, but it's so helpless, right? So the child just really feels useless, and they feel indirectly like they failed something because they cannot do anything. So if we can help them by talking about it and put them to task, that would be very helpful for them.
Yeah.
And I think here we tend to be thinking of younger children, but that's not only the case. Even older children.
Kids, not
need
even
to be-
kids,
Yeah.
adults as well,
Adults, this
who
is
are
what
children.
I mean.
Yeah.
If a parent has an adult child and something's wrong with the parent should table that so that that child can learn to deal with it and come to terms with it.
Yeah.
I think a lot of
Yep.
older parents don't do that with their adult children.
Well, like my dad being unwell as well at this time, I feel like I need to be the adult for my mom, because my mom's not handling that stress well, because
Right.
she
Yeah.
feels helpless and she's exhausted. So, okay, we'll go in there.
Stand by traffic first.
Yep.
Joel, you were talking about
Different situation.
yeah,
Yeah.
but that's a very good situation that you just brought up.
Yeah.
Do you want to bring that up
Sure,
again?
yeah.
Because I have something else I want to say about
Okay,
that
yeah.
as
So
well.
my dad is currently in hospital. He had 3 mild strokes. The last one being on Friday. So and my parents have been together for more than 50 years. So it's hard for my mom to be dealing with this, because firstly, she's an introvert. She's not a social creature, and my dad is basically, he fills up a lot of space in the house.
Right.
So she's a lot of stress. She's very, very stressed out from not knowing if she can do anything, being completely exhausted, both emotionally and physically, having to go up and down to the hospital
course.
every day, and not being able to sleep or eat or anything. So I'd like to find out how I, as a grown child of theirs can help with a situation like this. I mean, obviously I try to be the adult, but I too also feel stressed out. But I think I can manage my stress a little bit better than my mom can.
Yeah. So we hear the roles, right? So there's a shift in roles here. And, dad has taken up a lot of space. Mom may feel, we don't know, may feel that she would want to take over the space, or Angel feels that she needs to take over the space, but actually no one has to. No one has to take over the space. Being yourself is probably the most important of all, and recognizing that you need to be yourself. I think it is very difficult for mom to try and grapple with her partner being in the hospital, whether the whole life and death situation, and then having to play another role. On top of that, you're looking at all the other responsibilities that may come with it, the shuttling to and fro, the sorting out of the administration. So there are a lot of other small things that we actually don't see. We just look at being ill or someone in the hospital, but there's actually more than that. There are so many different aspects of being ill.
It's like decision making,
Yes.
It's like
Yes.
what's best for him.
Correct.
Yeah,
and maybe your mom might have a different point of view.
Yeah.
Maybe your sister might have
Something else.
something else
Like
that she
I-
feels.
Yeah, that she wants to contribute. Like, I feel I have to be the one getting the updates from the doctors,
Right.
from the nurses, calling the ward, finding out what's happening, what's the next step, and then relaying that information to the rest of the family. And then obviously, like you said, my sister has got a whole other set of plans on
Exactly.
her own, and then my brother as well,
yeah.
So it's
So
tough.
who should lead?
Well,
It's almost
I
like
should lead. I'm always the leader. I'm taking the lead here.
Is that what should be done when you have so many people in the family, all with different ideas, that someone just steps forward and takes the lead and sort of guides everybody else through this? Is that what should be done?
But that's a huge responsibility as
massive,
well.
massive.
It is a very huge responsibility, but when there is a group that comes together, there's always one person that kind of steps forward and takes the lead so that there is a direction. So there's nothing wrong with that. So you have the administrative, the logistic. I think what many people forget is the admin and the logistics are easier to focus on, but they forget to focus on their own emotions. So,
Right.
Angel, you would be going through a whole host of emotions yourself, and it is okay to take time for yourself rather than trying to hold up everyone, because the caregiver tends to be the one to feel that I need to be strong and look strong in front of everyone. So what happens is your emotion goes into the background and it gets denied. So we don't want that, because that's a surefire way to kind of break your body down also.
I feel a good glass of wine always helps, though.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, just to relax and take a deep breath in. I'm not talking about finishing the whole bottle. I'm just talking about a nice glass of wine, just to
Just to
chill,
relax.
just to relax. Yeah.
But your dad's better now, right? I mean, he's
He is
stable.
better. He looks like he's on the mend.
good.
Yeah.
So knock on wood, he'll be out soon. So
All
yeah.
right. Okay.
Okay.
Are we on?
Now we're on
Facebook?
air.
We're
We're
on
going
air.
We're on it. Okay. All right. Let's continue to talk to Jerry on the Big Show TV. Here's Duffy with Mercy on One.
So Jerry, in this case,
Yes.
how difficult is it for a younger person to take control when most people in the family are much older than you are? Does that put more stress on that younger person?
so if I'm not sure how young you're looking at, but we don't want to parentify the child also. So if it's a young child, we need to permit that child to have a childhood also, rather than putting on the responsibility onto this child's shoulders. But they do need to know what is going on, and spoken to at an appropriate level. So things are not hidden. It is still told to them and paced at their level so that they can emote at their level.
Right. 5 years old you're talking about, right? FD?
No, I'm thinking of kids who are in their late teens,
Right.
Early
a single
20s.
child in the late teens. Let's say
Who's kind of forced to grow up in
Yeah.
a situation like that.
exactly my point.
And become the parent, like
And become
Jerry
the
said.
yeah.
Yeah. So-
It's got to add more to the.
Yeah, so what we want to do is, so for all caregivers, not just the young ones, right? We want them to take time for themselves and use resources. So if like Angel feels she needs to take on everything, or if the young child feels that, the child has to take on everything, then I want to remind all of you to use resources, whether it is the medical team, whether it is the support groups out there, whether it is the external support, relatives, if there are friends, if they are all too willing to step in. But are we willing to reach out and take their hands is a totally different story altogether. Yeah, and the more important one that I want to highlight is also remember to look after your own health needs, because far too often I hear caregivers doing this. They will look after everybody and they will neglect their own aches and pains. They would not bother about, their own medical issues. So please do not do that. Please also look after yourself, because in order to look after anyone else, you do need to look after you.
This is exactly something that Joel has said. He said he's noticed that caregivers, once the patient recovers, they seem to fall away.
Fall
They
ill.
fall
Yeah,
ill,
because they haven't looked
Because
after
it's like-
themselves.
it's like the adrenaline has kept them going, and
Yeah.
now that adrenaline has come down and everything falls back
the
on
immunity,
them.
But
immunity falls.
it's easier said than done, I mean,
Yeah.
if a member of the family is seriously ill,
Yeah. How do you
gravely
think
ill,
about yourself, right?
you just automatically don't think about yourself anymore.
Yeah.
Everything is about that member of the family.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
So, Dr. Jerry, we've been talking about like being very ill or terminally ill, and kids looking after parents, and vice versa. But we also forget about one thing. I mean, as women, we would know this as well. How do we deal with the man flu?
Yeah.
Because that's a tough one. The man flu, when the man of the house gets ill, he practically becomes a child.
No,
and
no,
then
no.
there's the stress, because he's like, I want this and I want that, and like
Angel,
ring the
that's not
bell,
true.
and like
when a man
one
gets
sneeze, I'm like, oh my god, I have to go to the doctor. I'm falling ill.
when
and
a
all.
man gets the flu, he is dying.
Yeah, see?
No.
See what I mean?
Yeah,
See, so how do
Are
we
you like that, Sean?
How do we
No,
do?
not really.
Oh,
Yeah.
please, are you
Yeah.
sure?
Neither
I
am I.
can be.
It's
if I want
like
to.
you cough a bit, like I think I need some.
You guys can check with our wives.
I am a
You
terrible.
are like probably the worst.
No.
Hypochondriac, man flu suffering individual. I bet you if I spoke to Jean, she'd be like, "Oh my god."
One day you ask her, okay, when you guys come over for drinks or whatever,
and I'm
just
sure
ask her.
we have lots of stories to
ask her
share.
after she has a few drinks.
I will admit, I am the worst patient ever.
There you
I
go.
have a
See?
runny
Yeah, I
nose, and it's the end of the
It's
world.
the end
He
of
looks
the
like
world,
it.
right?
Yes, every
He
day
looks like it.
Do you
And-
deal with this as well, Dr. Jerry, with your husband?
So actually, these are the easiest. It's those that say I don't need anything. Those are tougher, because then the caregiver doesn't know what to do. But if they are whiny, we only need to deal with the whininess.
Yeah.
But we know exactly what to do. It's like, FD, do you need the tissue paper? Okay, you need your hot water, and we know exactly what to do. And that's okay, because we can be put into action. It's just very tiring and a little bit annoying. Oh, okay, quite a lot
There
annoying.
you go. See?
Like But other than that, it's okay. You can be a baby once in a while.
Oh,
After
she's so sweet.
being a baby, you look after me and you pamper me. That's fine.
And then after that, we deserve a spa day.
Thanks to Deliveroo. These days you can get anything.
That is
I
true.
feel like hot cheng teng right now. Okay, I'll just order. I need some of that. I love like herbal drinks
it's
and all
not
that
so
from the medical
simple.
hall. They have it as
No,
well.
but you know why
Yeah.
it's not so simple?
Why?
You need like a minimum order, and then in the end, you end up like with 2,000 of the same things in the fridge because you need
That's
to order.
okay. You got 7 days to be at home.
That's true, actually.
8:40, and the computer says it's low batteries. So I'm gonna
Yeah, we
get my
can
phone.
find out
8:40
what's
already.
Yeah,
We can
8:45.
have 8:42.
Yes.
Yeah, we can
She's
do our last
running
words.
out.
My
Okay, I'm
goodness.
gonna-
Okay. Go ahead. Last words.
I'm going to give something that Dolly Parton said. She says
Islands
we
in
cannot
the
direct
stream.
No, battery is running low.
Okay, sorry about that. Go on.
We cannot direct the wind, but we can adjust the sails.
Yeah.
So everything is within our control, and we can always make it better.
Love
that's
that, love that.
You don't have a charger in your car. Huh?
Car's so big.
I'm using the computer.
She's using a computer, not
A
the
computer,
phone.
I see.
You don't have a
How
charger
big
for
is
your
her car that
computer?
she can balance a computer on the dashboard
But
of
she
a
can
car?
still have the USB one.
Yes.
Yeah,
The cable.
So now you're kind of saying, Jerry, you weren't prepared for this?
No. I'm saying, Jerry. we
Next
should
time.
buy you a gift, and
We'll
it'll
get
be
you
a
a
USB
charger.
cable.
A
How about
USB
that?
cable to charge your computer.
Therapy car might become a thing. So there you go.
Okay, we say bye-bye to her.
Thank you, Jerry.
Thanks, Jerry.
Bye. Have a good day.
Oh, okay.
That kiss was for you.
We
Okay,
have
take care. Have a wonderful
Bye-bye,
day.
Jerry.
Bye-bye.